Let's meet someone who's redefining health and wellness through innovation and entrepreneurship. I'm Kate Save. The Inspired CEO starts now. Welcome to The Inspired CEO, where each episode we explore the innovative wellness practices that are driving success and longevity in the modern business world. In this interview, we meet Rudi van Vlies, a visionary entrepreneur with over 25 years of experience in food and healthcare sectors. As a co-founder of Tumme IBS Healthcare, he is on a mission to empower 10 million people to thrive while managing IBS and digestive challenges. Rudi's ventures, including Orange and Green, Boost Vitamins and Destination Italy, reflect his passion for innovation, consumer-faced solutions, and creating lasting impact. Today, he shares his insights, his career, his challenges, and his legacy that he hopes to leave. So thank you for coming in today, Rudi.
That was a beautiful intro, Kate. Thank you very much.
Well, you have had an incredible career, and touching back just a little bit on the past. So some of these brands that you've created and even exited, what has that journey been like?
If I would have to sum it up in one word, probably flexible. It's always when you start a business, like I think with anything in life, and especially with business, that flexibility is so key, because there's so many external factors that can influence your business in all sorts of ways, whether it's governments or competitors or legislation or other countries. But yeah, I would, if I had to pick one word, it would be flexibility, which is key to leading a good business.
And at the peak of the size of the organisations that you've run, what sort of sizes have they run to and from?
Peak staff-wise, we probably were close to 40 people at some stage, which for us actually was quite a good number. And I'm saying it's a good number because our customers here in Australia are predominantly very large organisations, like the supermarket chains like Coles, Woolworths, Aldi, Metcash, and a lot of our partners that we co-manufacture with in Europe and Australia are also very large companies. So I think one of our strengths as a company to stay that medium size is the flexibility again we're having, but also the speed of being able to do business. Like I always find, people always make fun of me internally. I'm saying always we're like a little guerrilla army. You know, we can move our army very quickly from A to B, where we need to attack, where we need to withdraw, where we need to do different things. While a large corporation, it can often take them weeks, if not months, if they need to change something, whether it's strategy or plan of attack. And I think that medium-sized business for us, as a service provider to consumers, I feel that really works well. And from a turnover point of view, we were many years well over 100 mil, but turnover is vanity. Like it doesn't mean that much to us.
Yes.
And also in our business, FMCG and pharma, it's not that hard to reach a very high turnover if you would compare it, for example, with a law firm or an accountancy firm where people simply sell hourly rates rather than product.
Yes, that's right. And I think in Australia too, it's interesting that you've had to do manufacturing outside of Australia because we're quite limited with our capabilities here, aren't we?
Yeah, originally, I was born in the Netherlands, and you're really part of a European family where, manufacturers that have a facility can easily, within the European Union alone, service over 300 million people. And I think that is a big difference with Australia, where, especially in FMCG, you've got a very limited population. And moreover, you also have very limited people you can supply your products to.
Yeah.
And investment nowadays in technology and factories is enormous. So for Australian companies to really invest for 27 million people, I can understand why that is so hard.
That makes sense. So all of your ventures in the past have now led you to Tumme. So how's this come about? So you've had Voost, you've had Orange and Green, where you've manufactured everything from coffees and all sorts of things. I mean,
A lot of items.
Yeah, Potato Utopia with the chips and the gelati, Destination Italy and the pizzas. Why now IBS support?
So Potato Utopia and Destination Italy were really COVID babies, as we called them. We used to travel a lot. We used to, travel overseas probably 2-3 times a year. We used to be in Sydney because obviously some of the big retailers are there. If it wasn't every week, it was at least every fortnight. And suddenly we're lucky enough to live in Melbourne, and we got locked down, and we sit at home in a little study and we don't have to go to Sydney this week. And these 2 weeks of Europe, that's not going to happen anymore, so that frees up. So I guess it was maybe a little boredom sitting at home, and not me, but also our other staff in the office are also working from home, and our other partners, and really come up with ideas like what can we do, like where can we improve, what's happened in the last couple of years. And we haven't really been able to take a breath in the last couple of years because we've grown so fast, and now we can actually strategically have time every and each day to really understand where strategically where we want to head, what do we want to do. So that's where brands came from. Tumme was the third brand on top of Destination in Italy and Potato Utopia that really came about from my personal journey.
Yes.
I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, which is irritable bowel disease, or classified as irritable bowel disease in 2018, 2019. And that was something that came as a bit of a surprise. Like, I actually had stomach issues my whole life. And when you grow up with issues, I just always thought it was normal. And I remember talking to my GP, and he said, "Do you never have cramps?" I said, "Yeah, every day." But I thought it was normal. Like, it wouldn't last for long, but it was just, there was always something happening in my gut. But I just thought that everybody had that. I never had the chance to, I can go back to my teenage years having these symptoms. But obviously I want to do something about it. And the IBD bit, being the Crohn's bit, that needs to be, managed by your GP and your gastroenterologist. You get very high-end medication, biomedicine for that. The stomach upset, which is quite common for a lot of people with IBD, which is IBS and other what I call functional gut health issues. That was a much harder journey for me. Like, it took me 2.5 years before I ended up with Dr. Simone Peters from the Mind and Gut Clinic that finally was giving me some solutions between dietary, behavioral, and supplements that could really assist me in a scientific way. Before that time, there are so many products out there that, especially in the e-commerce world, that are magical powders, take this and it will reduce everything. And, if you take this, then that won't bother you anymore. And to be honest, I spent quite a bit of money on it because I was desperate to find a solution. Like, having gut issues
it's your health.
That's right. But also gut issues, it can be quite restrictive. If your stomach is not good, you have to go out, or you have to go to a party, you have to go to a meeting. Travel is also a very big thing. Like one thing, I spent about $2,000 on a report, and I thought, wow, this report is so good, and everything is in there, and I can do this, I can do that. And I remember I took it to my GP, which obviously for my health I'm pretty close to, and he said, that's really good. He said, we can do 2 things, and I was really excited. I said, tell me. He said, well, either you throw it in the bin or I'll throw it in the bin. I was like, oh my gosh. I said, are you serious? He said, yeah. He said, this doesn't help. So finally, my gastroenterologist, when he saw I was getting, still looking for solutions, he recommended to see Simone at her Mind and Gut Clinic, and that was at the same time when we were in the process of selling Voost. And I was just joking around with her because she was like, well, you go to the pharmacist and you buy this brand for this condition, and you buy that brand for that condition, and that brand for that. And I remember saying to her, I said, surely that would have to be a brand that looks after gut health, that addresses IBS and other functional
And
gut health.
IBD, yeah.
Yeah, and she said, no, there isn't. So I said to her, well, why don't we start one? And fast forward, and we launched Tumme October last year.
I love that the product is called Tumme, Tumme.
It's
really
very powerful,
clever.
yeah.
And so in terms of the points of difference with the Tumme product, apart from specifically being created for IBS and IBD, how is this innovative? How is this different to the other things that are on the shelf?
First of all, it's mainly for IBS. So IBD really needs to be, managed by your GP and gastroenterologist.
Okay.
So they're higher classification medication, section 3 all the way to 6. So
yes.
This is mainly about functional gut health, of
Okay.
which IBS is the key component for it. I think for us, there are a lot of brands at pharmacies that are very functional and non-emotional. They sit there, they don't really describe what they do or how it affects your body. So for us, first of all, with Tumme, we want to bring products together that can help any aspect of people with gut health issues, and it's always the same. It's bloating, it's gas. It sounds all disgusting because this is gut-related issues.
Dietitians talk about this all the day. The Bristol stool chart, and what number are they?
It is, very good, yeah. So it's still probably a bit of a taboo to talk about gut issues, and that's why a lot of people with gut health issues don't really talk about it to friends. Like it's still a bit of a taboo, and that's also probably what we're trying to do through education, through through our brand awareness, and with Tumme, which came about which we often do in the company, like, hey, who can come up with the best name, and whoever wins gets a $100 voucher for Uber Eats. So that's where Tumme came from. Which was a brilliant name, because before that, we couldn't find the right word. But it's a comprehensive brand. It's scientifically proven. Most of our products the body will not get dependent on it. So we have products for constipation, we have products for diarrhea, we have products for bloating, we have products for gas, but your body will not get accustomed to it. So they're non-addictive medication, which is quite and I think a lot of people don't know that. Like, you can take a product for diarrhea, but if you stop taking it, your body will be none the wiser. You are where you are, so your bowel will not get used to it.
Yes.
So it's probably more of a community brand that you can feel good at, that it will work, that has a scientific background to it. And that's really the key for us, to be very...
To do no harm and...
That's right, to be to help your body without getting dependent on these type of products that we're doing. So we've launched with 6 products and over time we hope to extend.
Excellent. Now, you've set yourself a very big goal of changing 10 million lives.
Yep.
And what is your strategy behind this? How are you going to reach as many people as you can?
First of all, we're a relatively unknown brand still. We've only been in the market for 3 months, and especially in the health and wellness, like it takes people to see it a few times before they trust you. And I think that's fair enough too.
You have so much experience here, by the way. You've done Boost, so tell us the plan. So establish the brand.
We are an e-commerce business at the moment, which we really enjoy, because our business has always been business to business and business to consumer. It's actually quite nice to create a different flywheel within our ecosystem. So I'm very happy about that. 10 million sounds like a big goal. I was actually toned down a bit internally because my goal was 100 million. So consensus reached us to come to 10 million. But if you look at functional gut health in Australia, people that are bloated, have wind, have IBS, have other gut issues from time to time. That's about 4 in 10 Australians on an annual basis. So that number is already very close to 10 million. People that are diagnosed with IBS, the statistics change a little bit, but people say 1 in 7, that's already 3.6 million Australians. So, we would like to establish ourselves in Australia. Like, this is our home market, so all our energy at this moment is on the Australian market. Yes. But we also know that across
E-commerce can go anywhere.
Exactly, and across the ocean there is a big market called the USA or North America.
Yes.
And we feel that especially there, Tumme over time can be quite successful too. For the reason it's a much bigger population. We talk about 12x Australia, but also because the healthcare system in the US is very different and much more, maybe call it sophisticated as to what we have here in Australia. Like if you have gut issues, I mean, the first step you always need to do is go to your GP. Don't start buying powders off the internet and thinking that, there could be something very serious going on. So if you have gut issues, please go see your GP. Your GP will make an assessment whether, he or she will leave it with that appointment, or says, okay, I just want you to go and see a gastroenterologist and do either a colonoscopy or a gastroscopy. That's really your first step. So, but coming back to the US, like in Australia, that's a very good system.
Yes.
If you've got private health insurance, you can book yourself in, and
couple of weeks and it's all
probably 3-4 weeks max. And if the GP thinks it's urgent, you're probably in tomorrow. But even for the public system, if you don't have private health insurance, you still can go. If the GP feels like this is something we really need to have a look at, you're going on the public system. And even on the public system, if there is a feeling that there is something really going on, for example, you've lost a lot of weight, for example, or there's a lot of bleeding going on, you will be seen very quickly. The US is just a different kettle of fish. There's so many people there that probably believe they have gut issues, but they are really dependent on other systems than the public health system, because public health insurance in the US, as you probably know, is very expensive and not accessible for everybody. So we certainly can play a good role in that. And with Tumme, we're really about education as well. Although Tumme is a supplement business, like on our website, and by all means go visit tumme.com.au. There's information about dietary. So we have links to Monash University, and Monash University has about 700 plus accredited dietitians that are FODMAP accredited by Monash University. So, you can make yourself an appointment, you can find out who is close to where you live, go see a dietitian. They can help you with FODMAP, they can help you with other nutritional needs that are good for you. And we also have the behavioral side, which, there's an app called Nerva, for example, but also Simone's Clinic in St Kilda is an option that could be used there.
Yes. So
we really want to be a holistic platform for somebody like myself that suddenly gets told, "Oh, you got a gut issue." Like the Crohn's, we'll keep that separate, and we can do something about it. With other gut issues, if there's nothing organically wrong with you, the inside, it's one of the few conditions you get diagnosed with, but you leave the hospital without any clear treatment plan.
Yes, that's right.
And that is so key. And I did a post on it recently too on my LinkedIn page. Like that resonated with so much. Like, you got IBS, or there's nothing wrong with your small intestines, your colons are all fine. So, we'll classify it as functional gut health. You wind, you're bloated, you got diarrhea, constipated. No, there's nothing wrong. So there's nothing we can do. We'll see you later.
Yes.
And that's also a limited factor with GPs and gastroenterologists. They have 10 minutes per patient. So if, they need to look after the medical side, but there's nothing to cure for them, and there's nothing to manage, so that they can really say, okay, well, this is your situation. Which is quite emotional for a lot of people, and they want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about it for 5 minutes. They probably want to talk about it for half an hour or even an hour. And that opportunity is just not there for them. And it's
affecting quality of life. That is the key thing,
It is affecting
isn't
for
it?
a lot of people quality of life. And what I've noticed also with myself is that anxiety really kicks in, because anxiety happens if you can't control a situation that is actually part of you. But you can't control that situation because you haven't been given any answers. Again, it comes back to the treatment plan. Like, oh, sorry, you got, there's nothing wrong with you if you have gut issues.
No plan. People need a plan.
That's right. There's no plan. So you leave you leave the medical facility and you're thinking, oh, there's no plan for me.
I have a diagnosis, but no
plan. That's right. They've told me there's no plan.
Yes.
So that's really, it is really in a way a passion project. Obviously
Yes.
we are a commercial company, and we need to survive, we need to make profit, etc. But Tumme is really passion driven and really trying to help people and hopefully have people not searching like me for 2.5 years to finally reach an accredited person to say, okay, well, this person can actually help me.
Yes. So that is the legacy that you want to leave, is to really to help those 10 million people
Yes.
get back some quality,
Yeah,
have a plan,
yeah,
and know that they're on the path to living a more normal life.
living a good life.
Yeah.
Like, and again, with functional gut health, like you can't cure things. I think we need to be very clear about that too, but you can manage things, and that management can be good enough for you to have a good quality of life. And I think that's the key for it. I know a lot of people will look like, no, I just want to cure my gut. There's nothing. If
Gotta
you have
manage
it,
it,
then
yeah.
it's this. You need to have to live with it, and you can manage it, and you can manage it very well.
So if people want to find Tumme, where do they go?
We are a pure e-commerce business.
Okay.
So at the moment, our website is tumme.com.au, and all our products are on there. A lot of other information is on there, and by all means, we got fantastic products on there. There is also a quiz you can take to see, what your symptoms, and the quiz will recommend a number of products for you. And we're very excited about it.
Well, I'm excited too. Being a dietitian, I see a lot of people with IBS, and
Yeah.
I think being able to give them a plan in addition to their FODMAPs, diets, and the other things that they're doing, hopefully can restore some better balance in their gut and
Absolutely.
remove some of those horrible symptoms.
Absolutely.
So this is the Inspired CEO, and we'll be right back.